Hello folks, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In this video, we will be discussing a current affair topic presented to you by your faculty Sushma KP. So what is the topic that we will be discussing today? Kill switch, Iran shuts down Starlink internet. First, let me tell you like a base story. So what happens right now is in Iran, there is huge civilian protest that is happening. Initially, the protest happened because of price rise and then eventually because of inflation. And now at the end of the day, it is targeting your government itself. Now, Iran is headed by Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei, who has held that the protesters must be put in place. Now, in this backdrop, when people are taken to the streets to protest, your Iran has did one thing. It has shut down internet. So usually what used to happen was, whenever, this is not the first instance that your Iran is shutting down your internet. It has happened thrice before. It has happened in 2019, it has happened in 2022, and now it is happening in 2025-26. So what exactly is your Iran's objective of trying to cut down internet? A, it is to cut down on the dissent and also cut down the protests from the outside world. Isolate Iran and what is happening within Iran from the outside world influence. First thing. Second thing. So I told you these kind of internet shutdowns has happened before also. So earlier what was there, especially during your 2022, during your Amini, what that is further down I will be discussing. At that point of time, one thing that came as an alternate or plan B to the internet suspension was your Elon Musk Starlink. Understanding? Your Starlinks perform in such a way that their satellite uses GPS, and using the receivers that is on the ground level, they will be able to track the information. In just over the years, tens and thousands of these receivers of Starlinks were found in Iran. Largely they were used by business people who will have to see how the business is like, because their livelihood depends on that, and to see the contact with the outside world. Now what has happened means your Iran, especially post your 12-day war with Israel, it has even disrupted your Starlink receivers also. They are using military grade jammers. And at the same point of time, many a time in International Telecommunication Union, they have told that to stop doing internet shutdowns. And Iran Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei many a times has held that your Starlink's operation should stop in Iran, and use and possession of Starlink receivers in Iran is illegal. Many citizens are now fearing that. Now, for example, a particular person working in Toronto has exclaimed and held that that particular person's family members, brothers, cousins, etc., will go on streets for protest. Now they are not sure as to what will happen to them because internet is cut down from the rest of the world. So this has created a mass panic inside Iran. Understanding? So this is the kill switch. Now, again, why is it in news? Because Iran has imposed a nationwide internet shutdown, and they are using military grade jammers to cut down the internet. And also, this is the first time that your Iran has affected the Starlink connectivity also. How Starlink operates? It operates with a low Earth orbit satellite internet. It is owned by SpaceX of your Elon Musk. It tries to use your GPS. That GPS is getting affected, understanding, and this bypasses the terrestrial telecom networks. That was one advantage. That is why we call this as Plan B. Now, earlier this was just held that usage of these kind of receivers were illegal, but now directly they are targeting this itself, which means they are scrambling the GPS itself. Oh, whenever your Iran had earlier, based on the history, blocked internet, people would somehow find an alternate route around through your virtual private networks or VPNs for video downloads, protest coordination, and contact with the Indian, that is your Iranian diaspora outside. Now, tens and thousands of receivers were found in Iran, because this was known to that, yes, previously also this has happened, this will happen further. So they relied more and more on these Starlink receivers. Again, Iranian government held Those were illegal. Now, what exactly is this kill switch? Which means it is a state controlled total connectivity shutdown. This will include mobile internet, broadband, and satellite links. Understanding why is it doing this? This is aimed at crushing the dissent or the voice that is growing louder. How did Iran jam the Starlink? First and foremost, Starlink terminals rely on GPS, Global Positioning System. Now, your Iran has disrupted this GPS itself after the 12-day war with Israel. Now, this jamming has affected so much so that they are not able to lock on to the terminals. First thing, initially in the fight, around 30% of data packets were getting lost, which very soon increased to 80% of packets being lost. Which means in all high powered cities or major juncture core areas, it is out of internet. Beyond GPS jamming, what else is Iran doing? Many experts suspect that they are using mobile military jammers and so similar to your Russia and Ukrainian attempts. And also they are targeting the satellite uplink and downlink. They are not allowing for the data packets to be transported properly. One thing is, if you see the already your Iranian economy is too fragile right now. It has suffered 4 decades of sanctions. Now with this kill switch, every hour your internet is shut down. It costs 1.56 million. Every 1 hour ke liye, the loss is this much. As of now, there has been 60 plus hours of shutdown. So multiply this into 60. Okay. And also, compared to earlier, right now the connectivity of Iran is just at 1%. So this is hurting the economic infrastructure of Iran, which is furthermore getting affected. What is the objective of your center trying to do this? Prevent sharing of protest visuals, isolate the population from its diaspora, enable violent crackdowns, and one more thing is, when Ayatollah Khamenei said that protesters must be put in place, US President Donald Trump held that if any more lives are lost in the protest, then US will take serious actions. For US to take serious actions, first they have to know that something is happening in Iran. How will they come to know if they cut down the internet or isolate Iran from the outside world? That is what is happening right now. And also, many officials have held that for those of them who participate in the protest, it will be considered as an act against your God. And the punishment would be death sentence. Understanding? So here, the question of human and civil liberties are coming up. So I told you, this issue has happened earlier also. When and all? First instance was in 2019 when there was severe fuel hike prices. More than 300 people were killed. That time also your internet shutdown was visible. Second instance is in your 2022 Mahsa Amini protests, where this Amini person who was not dressed according to the expectation of the moral police, okay, at that point of time it triggered again wherein 500 plus deaths was led in the civil protest. Now at this point of time also they did internet shutdown, but largely the protest was spread about using your Starlink networks only. The third instant is the current protest, where their higher aspect of target has been your Starlink connections. Okay, so the state is responding very stronger against this. Now, if you see with respect to international aspects, Iran had earlier complained to your ITU, International Telecommunication Union, that Starlink has to be stopped in Iran and usage or operation of Starlink is illegal. International Telecommunication Union had told many a times for Iran to stop with the internet shutdowns. Now, if you see what is the risk for citizens, many citizens claim that Nowadays, it's very risky and difficult for them to be found with Starlink receiver because they can label them as a person from opposite side and they can arrest, conduct a lot of civil rights harm, human rights harm. So the accused, they can even be labeled as these are the accused who are spying for your US and Israel. Yet most of them feel like now is it about safety or security? If we don't possess this, then how will the outside world know what is going to happen? Many of them have even claimed that if any help is to come, it has to come right now. Otherwise, in another 2 to 3 days, the protest will die down because it is very difficult for the protesters to be non-violent when the security is coming up very much violent on them. Why exactly is this a global game changer as to what is happening right now if no action is taken? It shows that the satellites are also not immune from your state actions and they can control to space based systems. And at the same point of time, the protest technologies are trying to be much and much and much neutralized. So, this shows authoritarian technological countermeasures have to be taken. Now, from India perspective, if you see, India also occasionally tries to use internet shutdowns, but the difference here is the scale, the intent, and the timing. First and foremost, you have to balance security and rights and economic impact. All three of it has to be looked before any particular decisions are to be taken, like a complete shutdown, or in this case, a kill switch. Now, if you see, your Iran jamming your Starlink marks a new phase in your digital battlefield. The fight has been taken from land to low Earth orbit, and the future protest will also be very much dependent on all these attributes put together. With this, we come to the end of the content. If you like our content, subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, share it along with your friends. Thank you.